Edgar was about to propose to his girlfriend, but her father found out about his plans and opposed them, taking the opportunity to humiliate the young man. However, time passed, and the fate of these two men was about to intertwine again in a courtroom. Edgar had a surprise in store for the man who humiliated him, something that would make him tremble like never before. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is the Linda's Stories channel. I hope you enjoy this story. Young Edgar stood out as an only child in a family of dedicated workers. From an early age, he learned the value of effort and persistence. Edgar wasn't much different from the other members of his family when it came to dedication to work. He never turned down an opportunity to make money and was always looking for ways to improve his life and help his family. Currently, Edgar was working as a rideshare driver, a modern job that allowed him to earn his living. Every morning he woke up early, prepared his car, and set off for another day of work. It was while working as a driver that Edgar had the encounter that would change his life. A notification on his rideshare app alerted him to a possible passenger nearby, and Edgar promptly accepted the ride, as usual. His car soon headed to the indicated address, an imposing commercial building in the heart of the city. When he arrived, a lovely sight entered his car. It was Jenny, a beautiful young woman with eyes that sparkled like stars. Edgar acted with his usual professionalism, greeting her politely. That day, the downtown streets were undergoing maintenance, and traffic was terribly congested. But Edgar, with his usual calm, remained focused on the task of navigating through the maze of vehicles and traffic cones. As the minutes passed and the car moved slowly, Jenny began to talk to Edgar. Her voice was sweet, and her words flowed like a tranquil river. She shared stories about her life, her dreams and challenges. Edgar listened attentively, feeling captivated by her presence. The chaotic traffic and roadwork seemed to fade into the background as Edgar and Jenny continued to talk. Time flew by, and before they knew it, they had reached Jenny's destination. Jenny and Edgar bid farewell at that moment with a feeling that their chance encounter could have lasted a little longer. Edgar's car slowly departed, ready to pick up the next passenger assigned by the app. As Edgar drove through the bustling city streets, he heard a sound coming from the back seat of his car. He glanced in the rearview mirror, and there, on the seat, he saw a shiny cell phone. Carefully, he picked up the device and saw the screen light up with an incoming call. Edgar answered the call and heard Jenny's soft voice on the other end. "I think my phone fell out of my purse while I was getting out of the car," she said with a gentle laugh. "Could we meet somewhere so I can get it back?" Edgar agreed to return the phone later, as he was on his way to pick up a new passenger. They decided to meet at a cozy cafe near Jenny's house. It was the perfect excuse for these two young people to meet again, and thus began a relationship that would soon turn into something deep and passionate. It was evident that Edgar and Jenny came from different social backgrounds. Jenny was the daughter of a prominent lawyer, studying to follow in her father's footsteps in the legal career. On the other hand, Edgar struggled every day to earn his living with dignity, living a modest life compared to the wealth and prestige of Jenny's family. When Jenny's parents finally met Edgar and learned of the difference in their social conditions, they opposed the relationship. But they thought that the involvement between their daughter and the rideshare driver was just a passing love affair. As time went on, Edgar and Jenny grew closer and closer in their relationship. It was a special day, Jenny's graduation, the culmination of years of dedication and study at law school. She was about to share with her father the prestigious law firm. For Edgar, this day had an even deeper meaning, as he had something very special planned. He was determined to propose to Jenny. As the graduation ceremony took place in the auditorium, Edgar nervously sat beside Jenny's father, holding a small box with an engagement ring. Anxiety and tension caused Edgar to drop the box with the ring, which opened and revealed its contents. Jenny's father, upon seeing the ring, immediately realized what Edgar was about to do and what it would mean for his daughter's future. Without wasting time, Jenny's father called Edgar out of the auditorium. His serious and determined gaze cut through the young man's heart as he uttered words that resonated like a thunderbolt. "Son, if you think I'm going to let an uneducated fool marry my daughter, you're sorely mistaken," continued Jenny's father, his voice filled with authority and disdain. "I would never allow my daughter to marry someone like you, who will never reach our level. This relationship has gone on for too long. It's time to end it. Edgar's heart was broken, and he didn't want Jenny to be put in such a tough spot of having to choose between him and her family. He knew how much being with her family meant to her, and he didn't want to be the reason she had to make such a distressing decision. On graduation day, he chose to keep his feelings to himself, allowing Jenny to fully enjoy her achievement and feel happy. The next day, Edgar woke up with a strong determination. He knew he needed to make a decision that would change the course of their lives. "Jenny," Edgar began, "I need you to know that I love you deeply. You are the most special person who has ever entered my life, and I will always cherish the wonderful moments we shared together. However, right now I'm not ready to move forward with this relationship." He saw confusion and sadness in her eyes, which broke his heart even more. He continued with a gentle and compassionate tone, "Our paths are different, and I know you have responsibilities and a bright future ahead, while I'm still finding my own way. Perhaps in the future our paths will cross again." Edgar continued, his voice choked up. "Please believe me, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. I will never forget you, Jenny, and the love we shared. But for now, I believe it's best for both of us to go our separate ways." Edgar made a difficult decision and left without looking back. He knew that if he looked into her eyes at that moment, his determination might waver, and he would run back into the arms of his beloved. Life continued its course, leading Edgar and Jenny in opposite directions. After years of separation, Edgar and Jenny's paths were about to collide again. George, the renowned lawyer and Jenny's father, was facing one of the most challenging cases of his career. He was tasked with defending the son of a powerful politician who was accused of a terrible hit-and-run that left a woman paralyzed. The situation became even more complex due to suspicions that the young man was driving under the influence of alcohol. The case involved a series of twists and controversies. The main one was the accused's claim that someone else was driving his car on the night of the incident, not him. Because he fled the scene of the accident, there was no clear evidence that he was drunk at the wheel. The courtroom was packed, and everyone was ready for the trial to begin. Jenny stood by her father, George, as his assistant in this significant case. Tension filled the air as the prosecution lawyers entered the courtroom, and it was then that Jenny and George noticed something surprising. Among the prosecution lawyers was Edgar. George, with all his arrogance and confidence, decided to clarify why that driver was among the prosecution team. What George didn't know was that over the past few years, Edgar had tirelessly worked to turn his life around. He had studied and graduated in law, becoming a competent and determined lawyer. The man George saw before him was no longer just a driver, but someone who had overcome challenges and transformed into a respected professional. Watching this unexpected turn of events, Jenny flashed a slight smile at Edgar, which was returned. Though they were on opposite sides in the courtroom, they still shared a memory of the moments they had together. As the trial progressed, everything seemed favorable to the politician's son accused, as there was no material evidence incriminating him. Witness testimonies were often conflicting, and it seemed like George, the defense lawyer and Jenny's father, was heading towards an imminent victory. The politician's son was on the path to being acquitted of charges that could ruin his life. However, when the last witness was called, George himself began to tremble. He knew this witness had the potential to completely change the course of the case. It was a friend of the drunk driver, a witness who had been kept secret until that moment. Some previous witnesses had claimed that the accused young man was accompanied by someone in the car at the time of the accident, but no one knew for sure who that person was. It was Edgar, with his tireless dedication, who discovered the identity of this friend and realized he was being threatened, which prevented him from coming forward and telling the truth about the accident. The entry of this witness into the courtroom created palpable tension. All eyes were fixed on him as he approached the witness stand. Edgar, now in the role of the prosecution lawyer, was determined to ensure the truth came to light. He was ready to question the witness and reveal the hidden details that could change the fate of the case. The truth finally came to light undeniably, both in the words of the witness and in a video he had recorded moments before the accident while inside the car. The video revealed the politician's son drinking and already visibly intoxicated, performing dangerous maneuvers and driving at high speed. It was irrefutable evidence that placed the young man behind the wheel and confirmed the accusations against him. With these damning revelations, the case was closed. The politician's son was found guilty, and justice prevailed. Edgar, now acting as the prosecution lawyer, had achieved a moment of glory. This personal victory was a sort of redemption for Edgar, a way to prove to himself and others that he was worthy of respect and recognition, regardless of his humble origins. At the same time, he didn't let the rivalry with George overshadow the greater goal of seeking justice for the accident victim. George, despite his previous arrogance, couldn't help but acknowledge the excellent work of the prosecution team, including Edgar, who played a crucial role in presenting evidence and seeking the truth. With a handshake, he congratulated the team for their dedication and competence shown during the trial. Jenny, with a warm smile, approached Edgar to congratulate him on the victory. "Congratulations, Edgar. You mentioned in the past that you had to find your way in life, and it seems like you've made quite a discovery. I'm happy for you and your success. It seems like you were born for this." Edgar responded with a playful smile and a hint of nostalgia in his eyes. "It's true, I found my way," he agreed. "And I also said I hoped our paths would cross in the future. It seems like we're now in the same place, don't you think?" Edgar and Jenny faced an uncertain future, but there was a mutual determination to give love a chance in this new phase of their lives, now more mature and aware of the choices they made. Their story, full of ups and downs, seemed to be unfolding again, bringing them back to each other at the right time. Just like Edgar, life often confronts us with tough challenges and cruel situations. In these times, how we react is crucial. We can choose to accept the circumstances and resign ourselves, or we can choose to prove to ourselves and others that we are capable of more than they judge us capable of. And how would you have acted when confronted by George, Jenny's father, about your social condition? Would you have resigned yourself, or like him, would you have used it as strength to prove your worth? If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.